I'd like to speak briefly about the future of Japanese studies. You. There is much that we have yet to examine about Japan, past, present, and future. What you will discover will not only enrich our knowledge of the archipelago, but also locations across the world. By entering into the field of Japanese studies, you will help challenge and resolve problematic assumptions about the way the world operates. Whether you are a historian or an anthropologist, a legal scholar or a media specialist, you will gain the opportunity to correct cultural biases and help us engineer a more interesting, if not equitable, global society.
I think the most important goal for Japanese studies is to further the process of its integration with and within the fields of humanities and social science research on all areas and all aspects of culture and society. It's important, of course, to learn and know about and teach in depth about the unique characteristics of a culture, such as a literary tradition, of a place like Japan or any other place. But it is also important, alongside that, to expand our consciousness not only of what differentiates one culture, one nation, one region, one family, one individual for another, but also what we share as humans and as part of greater humanity. I think that tolerance for difference combined with a consciousness of what we hold in common in our experience is what's lacking from the civic space. And I think that we, as scholars of Japan, along with other scholars, need to keep this in mind as we pursue our various research and teaching goals.
Speaking personally, I see the future as being very interdisciplinary. There's so much potential for collaboration between those of us working on Japanese studies and people in other fields, especially within the realm of environmental studies. After the events of March 11th, 2011, the study of Japan has really been recontextualized in American academia as a globally important event, right? And so Japanese studies becomes something that is important beyond the boundaries of Japan itself. And so I think in many ways, right, the study of Japan has become this really key element in theorizing the Anthropocene, right, which is this term for a proposed new geological age that we are all in which human actions, right, have become the dominant force in shaping the environment in its natural systems. I think there's just so much potential for Japanese studies to engage with these issues, engage with these questions in new and important ways.
For me, Japan was always an interesting instance of modern history. I didn't see it as something esoteric, exotic, or lotus land or topsy-turvy town. I saw it as a society that had modernized, and it was a great place to study what I was interested in, which was actually modernity. So I was always comparing Japan to other places. I was never a Japan-only person. And since I've been a Japan historian, the history field around the world has changed such that historians of Europe or Latin America or the United States, they now see Japan the way I did, which was that this is a very interesting instance of modern society. And so now Japan is accepted in these history departments. When I began, it was not part of the standard history discipline. So we have so many students studying Japanese around the world now. Our enrollments in Japanese language are through the roof. And that's true in Turkey, it's true in Italy, it's not just true here. People are studying Japanese, they study it for various reasons. They may come to Japanese from anime or martial arts. It doesn't matter. Their interest is genuine and real. They learn the language. They become people who know Japan, and that is fantastic. For them, and also I think for the world, so that we know more about one another. We just have to be sure that we teach about Japan well, and we make opportunities available for people who do study Japan and want to know about Japan to go there and to live there.
The future of Japanese studies in a musical context is, I think, the best that globalism has to offer. Music is a shared activity, a team sport that brings us together. But American universities have struggled to include Japanese music in their curricula, mostly because these instruments take time to learn. So I'm excited to bring Japanese instruments to composers, these musicians eager to redefine the avant-garde and hungry for new sounds. It's hard to know what avant-garde means in the 21st century, but for me, what's more cutting edge, both in musical and sociological terms, than embracing instruments and musical aesthetics like those from Japan, mostly still outside the sphere of European tradition, and using this experience to expand our definitions of what music can be here at home and what our music programs should teach.